Respect and honor, beautiful souls. We are back talking about the metaphysics of renewal and Renewal 10.0 Volume 2. There are dormant parts of us that need to be resurrected, and to evolve your own natures, you must rely on your own prowess. And I want us to begin to move away from the idea and the concept and the notion that we need something outside of ourselves to resurrect our inner possibilities and talents and skills and strengths. And now, don't get me wrong, there is a time to believe in something outside of ourselves, larger than ourselves. But there's also a time to go within and awaken that which is latent or dormant. Sort of like the concept that the pine tree lives in the acorn, or the oak tree, the oak tree lives in the acorn, or the chicken lives in the egg. All the possibilities of that chicken, all the possibilities, all of the genetic material, all the DNA, all the instructions and code is encoded in that material, in that small egg. It's the same thing with us. It's already in there. It's locked and loaded in a code, and it's just waiting for you to decode it and unlock it and awaken it and grow it and mature it. And that's the easiest way to explain it. So let's get into this. Let's talk about this. I left off last week talking about, silence and getting into a space of solitude and the importance of removing yourself from family and other distractions. So I just want to start off by saying, to kill quarrel, shut your mouth. Some of us were talking too much. We talk too much, and we allow things to linger to our own detriment. And when I say that with love, and I say that as a friend. One thing about me is I'm excellent at shutting the fuck up when it's time to shut up. And because I understand the power of saying too much, and I understand the power of my words, I understand the weight they hold, and I know that I can use my words to inflict harm. And so some of us, we don't realize it, but we use our words and we inflict harm upon ourselves, because every word that you speak, the cells of your body hear it first and foremost. So again, we possess 1,000 acres of possibility, and many of the biggest innovations in the next 25 years will come from obscure souls who are right now working in their garages, in their bedrooms, in their pajama pants, in their rollers and flip-flops. But one day they are going to revolutionize our reality, and the reality as we know it, this world as we know it. I always like to say, how would you describe a cell phone to someone who lived in the 1600s? And look at how many changes and innovations we've had just in the past 50 to 60 years alone. So imagine, because the universe as we know it is changing. Time is changing. Genetic codes are coming in. Portals are opening and closing. A lot of you are not familiar with this, but there are portals in the astral plane, in the celestial realm. You can't see it, but you can feel it. And sometimes when you feel things going on in the world plane, you'll see it play out on the world stage, here on the physical plane. But that is because portals are opening and certain codes are coming in, and you can either go with it or you can try to resist it, but you can't stop it. So never lose your temper. You may lose everything. You can lose a lot of things, but keep your temper. Remember that. In the heat of battle, put down your fists. Never lose your temper. That comes from the code of the samurai, the great samurai, the Bushido. Okay? The code of the warriors. And this is part of the art of war, is to never lose your temper. Once you've lost your temper, you've lost the war. Attract the attention. Secure the interests. And in any line of business, you'll stay in demand. Because for a lot of you, it's not that you have a bad product or service or idea or concept. It's not that you don't have great skills. It's not that you're, writing a terrible book, or you can't write, or you can't produce, or you can't cook, or you can't create beautiful tapestries. It's that you're obscure. It's that the world doesn't know who you are, because amidst all the noise in our world, they cannot hear you. They cannot see you, but you have an excellent product. You have fantastic skills and abilities. And one day, soon, the world will see it. But for now, it's just too much noise to hear it. Don't ever think the limit of your power of perception is the limit of all there is to perceive. Because there's so much more going on beyond the veil. There's so much more that we're about to experience. And when I say this, I mean this with all sincerity. We are about to experience and see so much more happen in our world. It's going to be large. And I just want us all to be a part of it. Not from the sidelines, not as spectators, but as people who are actually playing in the arena. So that's why we're talking about the metaphysics of renewal today. It's imperative. It's crucial. It's paramount that you be renewed. As the master says in the master teachings, be ye renewed. Be renewed. Confidence attracts confidence. So you have to root out all doubt, all fears, all anxiety, and you have to believe in the world. As damaged, so-called, quote unquote, as the world may appear, you have to believe that it's beautiful and perfect. Because the minute you accept that it's damaged and flawed, and I hear people say, oh, this country is going to hell in a handbasket. Well, if you believe that, then it can't be fixed. And so you have to root out all doubt in yourself and in what you're capable of. And seek wealth for the power of service it gives. Not for the sake of having wealth, but because of what you can do with that wealth. Because the greatest thing you can do for people who are impoverished, or people who have lost their way, or lost their rights, or lost their abilities to care for themselves and take care of themselves and their families, is to help them financially. And I don't care how deep and spiritual you are, you can't fix very much without money, without wealth, without means and resources. Grow something, raise something, build something. It will keep you close to the God force. Build something. I don't care if you grow flowers, grow herbs in the window, in your window, grow plants on the roof, or in your backyard, or on your patio. But grow something, build something, Work on something that you can see progressing every day. Work with nature particularly. Something happens during this process. There is an unexplored continent in your being. Have a plan. Sit and meditate in silence every day for a few moments each day, and you'll double your efficiency. Because most people don't know how to just sit down, be silent, relax, and work their plan. Most people don't even know how to really think. Thinking sounds easy, but it's not easy. But the more you do it, the better you get, the more effective and efficient you'll get. But thinking, just like in the beginning, I always tell people, sit down and make a list of 101 goals. Okay, beyond that, what if I said every day, make a list of 10 ideas of ways you can renew yourself, ways you can grow your business, ways you can become your ultimate healthiest, wealthiest, happiest self. After a while, you will lose you'll lose steam, you'll lose speed, you'll lose ideas, you'll run into a block where you can't think of anything. And that's where the power of thinking comes in, so that you are able to generate new ideas, because we're living in an ideal economy. And those who are best at executing their ideas will be those who are able to move to the next level. But persist in your plan. Unless your success makes you happy, it's not success. It's not success if it's not making you happy. Impersonate greatness, and you'll become great. Why do actors become, our idols? Why are we so infatuated with Hollywood? And not all of us. Some of us, could give two shits, but this world, whenever the movie awards come on, the Billboard awards come on, the Grammys, we are just infatuated. We want to see what they're wearing. We're paying attention to the Vanity Fair magazines. We want to see what everyone's got on the red carpet. And that is because these people impersonate heroes. They impersonate their model husbands and model wives and etc., etc., etc. They think, plan, and study ways to impersonate their characters. And in that process, they make it so real that we believe it's a part of their nature. And you can do the same thing. Think about Heath Ledger. Everyone talks about Heath Ledger. Heath Ledger, before he passed away, he embodied the character of the Joker. He became the Joker. I mean, every shred of him, in the fabric of his being, was this evil and sinister soul. He became it. And in that process, it took him out of here. But the key to that, I want you to understand, is be careful what you emulate and impersonate, because you will eventually start to become it. And the world will believe that's who you are. And that's how you actually walk into what it is you're trying to do, is by impersonating it. It has nothing to do with being fake. It has everything to do with a technique and a strategy of walking into a reality that you wish to become your reality. Impersonate the hero. Impersonate the hero, and you'll win the heroine. Guys, did you get that? Impersonate the hero and you'll win the heroine. Whatever you impersonate, you'll attract what that psyche or that personality or that being would typically attract. If you want the hero, ladies, if you want the hero, you must embody the heroine. If you want the hero, you have to embody the heroine. Because again, confidence attracts confidence. Beauty attracts beauty. Strength attracts strength. Wealth attracts wealth. Like attracts like. I know you've heard opposites attract. Opposites do attract. But ultimately, like entities are drawn to one another. So many of us fail to understand or fully accept and grasp the way humanity actually thinks. And it's a cold world out there, because if you want to marry the best man in the world, you've got to impersonate youth and beauty. And I know that sounds really, really superficial and plastic, but you have to understand we live in a superficial world where people will judge you on your appearances. That's just the reality we live in. And once you understand that, you can start to play with the laws of physics. If you carry yourself like you don't give a damn about your image, the world will believe you. Mankind won't work to see your heart and your soul if the outer image is not in alignment with what makes sense to them. So in other words, if you walk around and carry yourself like you just don't give a shit about anything, you don't care about, your hair, your nails, your skin, how you dress, or even if you do care, but you put forth minimal effort, that's exactly what you'll attract. You'll attract people who are all for minimal effort, low maintenance type friendships and relationships. And that's fine if that's what you want. But if that's not what you want, understand what you're doing to yourself and what you're creating for yourself. If you wish to attract a wealthy man, you have to impersonate youth, beauty, and wealth. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is wealthy people don't want to involve themselves with someone who's going to give them a headache. People who have a lot of assets and things to lose, they usually, if they're sane and they're intelligent, they don't want to involve themselves with people who don't have anything to lose. Every now and then, you're going to find those who don't walk in alignment with that reality. There are always exceptions to the rule. But for the most part, they're looking for someone who fits their idea of what would complement them. Just like when you see a hippie, or a tree hugger, you see somebody who's, they're ultra raw vegan, and they've got natural hair, and they believe in crystal healing and Reiki and all that stuff. They're not going to involve themselves with someone who is totally on the other side of the spectrum of who they are. Now that may happen, but for the most part, they're not really checking for someone who is the exact opposite of them, who eats pork and eats beef, and who is super careless about the environment and pollution. They don't give a shit about pollution. They don't care about the environment. They don't care about nature, what have you. They are not going to be attracted to that personality. So in the same way, you can call it superficial, but it is what it is, and that's just the reality that we live in. So beyond that, we should impersonate looking good, better, and our absolute best, because when we look good, we feel good. When we feel good, we attract good. That's just basic psychology. That's just basic human nature 101. Do you not feel good when you look good? Sometimes it's like, when you need to shower, you don't even feel right. You're like, I need to shower, right? When you look good, you feel good. When you feel good, you attract good. And so we also have to learn to embody silence. Embody silence, embody form and beauty and poise and sweetness, and others will be drawn to you as flowers to the sun. I kid you not. Look at the people who have a lot of admirers, whether that's social media entities, people on social media who have a lot of followers or a large following, actors. athletes, actresses, thinkers, great thinkers, our writers and our producers and our designers and just our garden variety celebrities. What are some of the things that you notice about them? And again, not to sound superficial, but the things that you're going to notice that draw a lot of people to them are things that can be changed from the image on the outside, because we really don't even know who they are from TV or radio or film or something that they tweet or something that they post. That's only a small percentage of who a person is. We really don't know who they are at their core. We only know what they're presenting to us. So I say that to say, again, if you want to draw people and you want to draw attention to yourself and attract certain personalities, you have to prop yourself up in such a way to attract those entities. Avoid hot words and anger, because you might slip up and tell the truth. One thing about children is children radiate the truth. Children tell no lies. They intuitively feel truth. I mean, not that they are not capable of lying. They will lie to you. But the point is, if you ask them a question, 9 times out of 10, they're going to give you truth, even if it hurts. And so be childlike in being real and truthful with yourself. Take care of your body and you'll have health. You don't have to necessarily chase health. Just take care of your body. This is the age of electrification, and we are fed, we're lighted, we're heated, and transported by electricity. But the breath is life. The breath is life. Americans lose 3 million years every 12 months from being sick. And the need for renewal is more urgent than ever. Good digestion rules the world. Good digestion rules the world. People are more sedentary than ever in history. We have never been this sedentary and lived sedentary realities from, literally cradle to grave ever in history the way we are now. So in a lot of ways, technology has been a blessing and a curse because it's helped us. I like to say, if you have technology, all you need is a library card and an internet connection, and you can achieve your goals. You can do most everything. But the problem with that is it has taken us off the path of moving our bodies on a daily basis. It has removed the need and importance of moving and walking and just getting outdoors, walking in the sun, being in nature. And so you have to be cognizant of that and be proactive in getting out in the sun and moving the body. Good digestion rules the world. Just remember that. A human's greatest vibrator is the diaphragm. The diaphragm. People, my singers, where are my singers? My singers know about singing from the belly, singing from the bottom of your gut, singing from down below, from breathing from your diaphragm, not shallow breathing from your chest. You'll know when you're breathing from your diaphragm when your stomach is moving in and out, as opposed to your chest moving in and out. When your chest is moving out when you're breathing, that's shallow breathing. You want to breathe from your stomach, from your diaphragm area. Arouse it, and you'll arouse digestion and stimulate the liver and the kidney. Now, this is a great muscle area. The diaphragm is also the great digestive engine of the body. How many of us, we just have muffin top stomachs? We have a gut from drinking too much alcohol, too many martinis, too many shots of tequila, too many glasses of wine, right? Too much Ciroc, too much Crown Apple. Who am I talking to? But the diaphragm is also the great digestive engine of the body. And so as you work it as much as you can. You're going to notice that your health improves, because 90% of your health is in your colon and how you're digesting your food. Oftentimes, if you don't feel good, if you're having a sour bellyache, just get some acidophilus in you. The good bacteria that help you digest your food and break down your food. And it takes the pain away. It can be as simple as taking a little bit of baking soda, or every morning drinking warm water, a warm herbal tea or warm lime lemon water. But breath exercises, deep breathing while you exercise, deep breathing while you run, deep breathing while you walk, deep breathing while you're on the elliptical, deep breathing when you go outside, when you're sitting in your car, when you're sitting on the train. Pranayama, breathing exercises. If you still aren't feeling fully renewed, you may have to change your line of work, because most of us, our line of work is our where we spend most of our time. If you work a 9 to 5, think about it. You're spending most of your time in that place of business. You're spending more time there, your waking hours, than you do with your family, or at home, or with your children, or with your husband or your wife, or your boo thing, or whatever. So if you're not feeling renewed, if you're feeling that you're more drained and strained and deflated more than ever, you may have to really just have a long, hard come to Jesus moment with yourself, and go within and know that you're gonna have to change your line of work. You're gonna have to walk every day. You're gonna have to drink alkaline water and take saltwater baths, Epsom saltwater baths. Lay off the sweets and the starches, and you'll start to see yourself being energized, and your presence, your presence back reawakening. Migraines are indicative of a toxic state. Migraines are indicative of eating too fast and eating too much, overeating, anxiety, and stress. So a lot of times when you're having a lot of migraines, that's indicative that you are completely toxic, and you can't keep popping aspirin and Motrin and Bayer and ibuprofen, because these things are slowly turning your immune system off, and that's the opposite of renewal. If you're having a lot of migraines, you want to eliminate the foods with additives, the food coloring, foods that have extreme colors, like that are away from nature, like red number 2 and blue 06 and yellow 4 and green. These are colors that they're artificial colors, they're food coloring. Free radicals, your donuts and things like that, they're full of free radicals. They age you. They cause your cells to oxidate, your blood to oxidate. It ages you. It pulls the oxygen out of your body. And excitotoxins, things like your MSG. This means all acid forming food, your bleached bread and your sugar. I've said it before, and I'm just here to remind you, sugar is not our friend. I love it too. It tastes wonderful, but it's a drug. And it's taken us out of here in record numbers. And it is the antithesis of renewal. Obesity is dangerous. And it too is the antithesis of renewal. So we can only get free of our deficiencies once we confess them and master them. That's the whole notion of to overstand something, or to stand on your square, to master something. You have to understand that it is dominating you for the time being, and it is just a weakness, and it's something that can be improved upon. Again, there is no condition that cannot be changed or improved. There's no disease that cannot be cured. There is no malady that cannot be reversed. Set your mind on what you want to be, then work it. Command your body. You have to command your body. Speak to it. It hears you. It is active. It is alive. Speak to it. You're speaking to it anyway, but be proactive about it. Speak to it with purpose. If you cannot realize your idea, idealize your real. Let me repeat that. If you cannot realize your ideal, idealize your real. What does that mean? Your mind is limitless. And no matter how deep in the muck and mire of life that you find yourself, you can be freed and you can be renewed. So how much mind work are you willing to use to build your body into a temple of the living God force? Talk with strong people. Useless, weak-minded people, leave them alone. Because it's easier for them to drag you down than it is for you to pull them up. Ask yourself, how many things have I worried about and feared? How many of those things have ever happened? Ask yourself, how many things have I worried about and feared? How many of those things ever happened to me? Because worry destroys your usefulness. It leeches strength away from you. So the way to combat worry and stress and anxiety is to form new plans and new activities, do new things. And in that way, you're also creating new pathways in your brain. You're creating new circuitry in your brain. You're growing your brain, essentially. That's why it's really important to, as you get older, to still keep your mind sharp with little games and things like that. You know, play chess, play bridge, play games that require you to think, games that require logic and things that make you think, you have to sit there and really reason with yourself before you can figure it out. It's crucial to do that. While I'm on that, let me mention dress in light colors for renewal. Dress in light colors. Why? Because there's a psychology to color, and great marketers know this. Even when you see logos of major multinational corporations, the colors they use have been chosen on purpose. There's a psychology to color. We know that certain colors do certain things and stimulate certain things within us. And if you don't know that, I challenge you today to get a book on the psychology of color. It's crucial. Even painting your house, the walls in your space does something different to your psyche. So dress in light colors, your bright pastels and things like that. Simplify your daily life. Check yourself when you know anger is getting the best of you. Check yourself. You have to check yourself. Check strife. Stop lying to yourself about certain habits being hereditary. I'm guilty of this too. I used to be, I would fight for my bad habits. I would fight for my shortcomings. And I realized that no one is going to fight for your strengths or your shortcomings the way you do. And listen to your self-talk and listen to how you talk about your habits to others. I hear people all the time, she just big bone like her mom and them. All of them are big bone. Is that truly a hereditary factor? Or are they all big bone because they all eat like shit? Because they all eat sugar and starch and animal protein, and none of them lead an active life. There's no such thing as big bone. It's just habits of being and living and eating and how you exist. Again, either you can confess and master your deficiencies, or you can allow them to master you. But understand, it's taking us out of here in record numbers. So you can say, oh, I can live with my deficiencies. But understand that everything that you say and do is not just affecting you. It's affecting your family and your children. And if you have children, it's affecting your children's children, because the way you raise your children, 9 times out of 10, 99% of the time, your children are going to take those same habits and ways of being, and they are going to raise their children in the same way. In the same way. Yeah. So check your strife. Your parents' issues and your grandparents' issues of an earlier generation, do those have to be your issues? Are you allowing them to be your issues? Are you inviting them to be your issues? Are you doing something to change that reality so that they're no longer affecting you in your reality? Talk about your victories. Talk about your victories. Remind yourself that you are supreme. Like, you really have to talk about yourself and talk to yourself like you are just unfadable, like you cannot be touched. You really have to believe that before it becomes a reality. And the funny, hilarious thing is this: when you start believing it, the world will treat you like you're untouchable. You won't even have to deal with certain things that other people have to deal with. It will fall away from you. Remember, you can rewrite your genetic code. You can rewrite your genetic code. We know scientifically that all of the things in our genetic code doesn't have to display itself. So just because you may have a gene for breast cancer does not mean that it will turn on. That gene may or may not turn on, depending on you and your habits and how you live your life, how you handle stress, how you deal with renewal and replenishing yourself. You are greater than all your dangers, all the things that you fear, all your doubts, all the things that you're stressed about, all the people, all that you believe is, something that's a problem. You're greater than it. You're greater than it. And opportunity shall be revealed to you. I like, the old folks used to say, keep on living. Keep on living. If you could go back and talk to your 14-year-old self, or if you could go back and talk to your 17 or 18-year-old self, you'd probably be able to tell yourself, don't even trip over some of this stuff because it's not worth it, right? Well, in the same way, you have to have the presence of mind to look at your situation and say, you know what? What am I getting worked up over? This is temporary. This is going to pass. And new opportunities are always going to present themselves. If someone leaves you and they stop fucking with you, bye. A bus comes every 15 minutes. Somebody better will be on the way. I promise you. I promise you. And you'll look back and be like, what was I thinking? Why was I holding on to him? Or why was I still just sprung over her? You will know this. Opportunities always present themselves, and fresh new ones are coming every 5 minutes. Power to supply your needs will be granted. There's so much money out here in this world. Don't ever think you don't have enough money. There is so much money in this world. And there are people who are ready to give you money. There are people who are ready to just lace your bank account. But you have to have a service or a product or something that you are giving them that makes them want to shell out that money. Whatever your needs are. If you need medicine, the medicine is there. If you need a roof over your head, There's so much housing out here. There's housing for you. If you need to know the right people, you need the right connections, they're out there. You just have to go find them. And once you're renewed, you can be prompted to decode the telepathic codes that are coming through the open portals. And you have to know what's going on in the celestial realm. That's why, who was it who said, I think it was J.P. Morgan who said it. Millionaires don't use astrology. Billionaires do. Every great president, every great emperor, every great leadership head of state has always had an astrologer. Every single one of them. You may not know that, but do the knowledge, do your research, do your due diligence, and you'll find out. So you have to, if you don't know what's going on with the stars and how they affect you, you have to get somebody on your team who does, who can help guide you and show you when is the best time to do things. Because there are times when it's not a great time to start a new project. And there are other times where it's a wonderful time to start a new project and it will be successful. And if you don't know when those times are, you'll fall on your face. And you have to get renewed. Your mind has to be renewed. So you can be prompted to know when to decode and how to decode. Codes are always coming to you. When you see certain numbers and sequences of numbers, those are your angel numbers. That's a code. And so the universe is trying to speak to you. The universe is always trying to speak to you. But if you're deaf, dumb, and blind and you're not renewed, you will miss it. It'll completely go over your head. You won't understand what it's saying to you. Codes are depicted through film and television to us all the time. Codes are, I said it before when there was the guy who shot up the 9 individuals in South Carolina last year, the kid Dylan Storm Roof. That's not a name. That's a code. He was an altered personality or a hired assassin, and his name was a code. But again, if you don't understand the way these codes work and you are just completely uncouth to what's really going on beyond the veil, you'll miss it. And you don't have to know all of it. You just have to know how to see the signs and the symbols to recognize it when it presents itself to you. So that's all, folks. I don't want to keep you long. Just know that your future hopes will be actualized. Remember to plan, then breathe life into your plan, and know that there is within you strength and resources and everything you need to power through and to get renewed. And I hope you tap in and tune into it. So peace and blessings and love, and I'll see you next week.